I think that would surprise me if you make the cut, but doesn't now.
What is it? Yeah. Yeah.
I want you to put it in the recommendation and the final.
Yeah, the recommendation, what he said, and then in the written order, what I wrote, like what I,
Let me.
which just clarifies what he said. Doesn't change it.
Same thing.
Sit down, ladies.
Thank you all for being with us today. At this time, we're going to start our Tuesday regular board meeting, December the 12th, 2023. If you'll please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and this time together. I pray that you would bless all of the people who came out tonight to be with us. I pray that the board especially would be focused on student success and that all that we say and do would be for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. At this time, I go to approval of the minutes of November the 14th, 2023 for our organizational meeting and for the regular board meeting.
Second.
Motion was made by Mrs. Mercer and second by Dr. Goodman. Is there any board comments at this time? Seeing no, I none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to our attorney, Mrs. Johnson.
Nothing new to report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll go to Superintendent Livingston.
Yes, ma'am. At this time, I am honored to present this certificate to Layla Randolph for a perfect score on the ELA reading assessment and the new FAST standards. And we are so proud of you. We're probably to do this on the board, but y'all mind stepping down. We get a picture and we'd like to get Layla and a family in there if that's okay with everybody.
Right?
Mr. Hagan, I know you need to be scouting for the academic team.
That's okay.
I've seen that.
Congratulations.
There you go. I'm gonna stand over here. I don't block everybody.
I don't want to be right in the middle of their.
One, two, three. If Miss Coon took a picture, it's only like a 105% chance that's gonna be on Facebook.
1, 2, 3. One more. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I knew it. Listen, I knew it was gonna be
How are you?
How are you?
Okay. Next up, we are honored to have Mr. Hagan. He's going to address the board regarding the success of the academic team at the Shadell Bailey Challenge. Mr. Hagan, correct me if I'm wrong, but we beat Lake Highland Prep.
In Jacksonville, we beat Lake Highland.
And this year we lost Lake Highland.
Well, this last tournament, we did not beat them this last.
Gotcha.
We beat them,
And three Jacksonville, and that was a pretty big accomplishment up there.
and then I think they set the sights on it.
Yes, yes,
It's all right, you know, come back.
absolutely. We've got a lot of year left.
We'll see them again on the 6th. So this was the 7th. No, I'm sorry, that's misread. This is the 9th tournament that we have put on at DeSoto County High School. We used to call it the Shumorial for John Shadell, which I'm sure everybody here remembers. And at the time, the last one we had about 21 high school teams. This time around, we had 11. And that's a misprint on that paper. So there's a lot of misprints on that paper. I'll send you another one. Sorry. This time around, it was a smaller tournament. We had about 14 teams prepared to come, and then we had COVID, and we had SAT, and we had 3-4 teams dropped out, but we still had 11 teams, which is a moderately sized tournament. We were pleased with the turnout. And it was originally named for John Shadell, and of course, this year we had to change the name because Mr. Larry Bailey, our co-coach of 20 years, passed away back in April, and more on that in a minute. And if you remember, John Shadell was a faculty member from 1972 until he retired in 2010 and died the same year of lung cancer again. And I have for the board members, and I handed these out at the tournament, if I may. The white ribbon is the lung cancer badge, which we have. This is the wrong shirt, which we have now on our team shirts, and we handed these out at the tournament as well. John Shadell served as the coach of the academic team from 1993, I believe, until 2010. He and the team won 3 state championships and made state runners up twice, I believe. And also in 1999, John Shadell led Team Florida to nationals and won nationals. It was called the Panasonic Challenge at that time, which is now Commissioner's Academic Challenge. And quite an amazing feat to lead Florida to a national championship. It's the greatest prize of our academic team. And of course, he also ran the rodeo. People remember John Shadell running the rodeo and the theater, So Little Theater. He was my mentor. I know he mentored a lot of people, and a lot of people in this room might have had him or were mentored by him as well. An incredible character and incredible person. And Larry Bailey taught physics at DeSoto from 1984 to 2003. And when he began co-coaching the academic team in 2004. And during that time, the team took state runner-up 3 times, and we made the final round of the state competition. I forget, I think 8 or 9 times, 8 times, I think. I'll have to look at it 7 or 8 times. We've only missed it twice, and since 2013 at least. And he was an avid JFK researcher, with 30 years experience in conducting research into the assassination. It was a holiday assassination. And a wizard at chess, a sports car aficionado. And like John, he was foremost a teacher and a lover of academia and assisting young people in learning. He wasn't particularly fond of public recognition, but how can we not do that? He showed that every single 18 practice that he could make for 20 years. After school on his own, never official, just always doing it out of fondness for academia and fondness for the students. If you add all those hours up, that's a considerable amount of time. And the board recognized him in 2019, I think it was 19, as the volunteer of the year. And the trophy is, or the apple is still in our trophy case for Larry. And this year, the tournament was a success. We had chess boards out for kids to play on during bye rounds and during the lunch period in Larry's honor. And they had those teams from all over. They were all over those chess pieces, we're going for it and having a great time. And I'd like to thank our readers and scorekeepers this year, which was Glenn Shadell, Blaine Wallace, who's with us, Gloria Montoya Vasquez, a former valedictorian, and her husband, Alex Reichley, Viviana Maldonado, Ruby Barajas, who I believe teach for the district now, Carolyn Cruz, who many remember, and she's retired now, Alyssa Serena, Jaylene Barajas, and Emily Morris, another teacher at Memorial, I think. And of course, our tabulators, Sergio Villafuerte and Kat Reichley and Mary Martin, I'm sorry, for their technical support. We used the one-touch screens for our scoreboards, and everybody loved that little feature. It's always great to do. I have some of the results of the tournament here. The first round was against Lake Highland, but we won't talk about that. We were still waking up and it was early. In the second round, we defeated Manatee School of the Arts in Palmetto, 285 to 160. In round 3, we defeated St. Stephen's Episcopal, which is a private school, fancy private school in Bradenton, 255 to 130. I savored these. I'll get to round 4 in a moment. In round 5, we defeated Bishop Verot, which is a personal favorite. It's a decade-long vendetta. Friendly, I like the team. But every time we beat them, it makes me smile. That was against Bishop Verot, 285 to 180. And then we played Lake Highland, and we've already discussed Lake Highland. We played Manatee Arts again. This is their C team, and we defeated them 315 to 60. We played Bishop Verot a second time and defeated them again, 295 to 175. So that's 2 in a row, which giggling, hopscotching up and down the hallway. And we played Lake Highland again, and we lost. It wasn't terrible. And the final round was the semifinals. The team made it to semifinals. Very pleased with that. And we didn't win that match against Manatee Arts, but still the team came in 4th place. We made semifinals, and that's a notch higher than we did at the last tournament, which was a notch higher than the previous tournament. So we are on the right trajectory for sure. About that round 4, which was against Hardee County. Now I emailed the principal of Hardee, and I took the liberty of this. And asked very politely and appropriately that if they still have an academic team, because we hadn't seen them in so long. So if you have an academic team, we cordially invite you to come to our tournament, and they did. So we were very pleased to see them. One of the reasons being that we knew we could beat them. So we defeated Hardee 380 to 35.
They might not come back again.
Well, the last time we defeated them, Three,
$395 to -5.
they
Oh.
disappeared for 2 years, was it? Yeah, they disappeared, so they might not be back again, but they are certainly welcome to come back to our tournament.
Congratulations, that is outstanding.
Thank you very much. We wanted to let the board know that this happened, this took place, and that and I believe it wasn't the only team that beat Harvey last weekend. It was girls basketball. Was it basketball?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a double whammy for them, so sorry, guys. We do our best. And thank you again for having us. And thank the board for all your support for the team over the years. We have many more events coming up, including the state again in April. The team has been working hard and raising money for everything else that we do. And we raised $780 at this tournament. Of course, we have to pay some of that back to the company that provided the questions, but still. It's
Y'all have another contest that'll be close for state.
Well, on the 6th is in Bradenton. It's at St. Stephen's.
Is it January 6th?
January 6th, which is a Saturday.
Can you send me an email? We might see if we get somebody over there to do a little video.
Okay, absolutely.
Gina, are y'all gonna be in town? We'll reach out to Jim and see if we could maybe get just a video highlights of that.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Awesome.
We appreciate it.
Stacy.
Would you mind just introducing your members?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would love to have them be recognized, yeah.
Okay, the team today, we had, the team that we had on Saturday, Roy Ortiz. Yeah. Eric Blosser. And no, that's the wrong line. Hayden Williams and Maritza Tovar. And Annette Contreras, who couldn't be here tonight, and Luis Armandoya Vasquez, who is the fourth in his family to go through the academic team. Of course, his sister was one of the readers, and this is a strong team. It's the strongest team that I can remember, and we've had some strong teams in the past. This team and the individual awards, I think we took out of 45 players total. And then individuals, it was 11th, 12th, and the 13th place, if I remember right. 10th, 11th, and 13th, yeah. So to have that many players scoring that high consistently is actually pretty unusual for academic teams that often rely just on the one kid that knows everything. So we got 4 very strong, 5, 6 very strong players. And when we go to state, that's when that shows, because the different skills in biology or in literature and different areas that one person often can't do. So that's always been the strength of DeSoto.
Can we get the academic team to come up and let's take a picture with them and you too, Mr. Craig? And why don't we do this, because as big as this group's gonna be, it's gonna be probably too large. We get the academic team in front of us, we'll stand up.
Okay.
Behind y'all. Come on up, guys, and get it.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Sweet. Suck it in.
Where's everybody?
All right, that's everybody.
Yes, that's how I.
1, 2, 3. A little more. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Good job.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Guys and gals, congratulations.
Let's win state this year, guys.
I can send you an electronic copy of that that's edited properly. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you again.
Good night.
Me too.
Thank you.
Night.
I
See you later.
thank you.
Madam Chair, the next thing I would like to do is just inform the board of school grades that came out yesterday. Let me review these with you. Montague Elementary, improved to a C, they're out of school turnaround. DeSoto Middle School improved to a C, they're out of school turnaround. DHS was a C, and Memorial was a C. West Elementary missed being a C by 1 point. And to give you a little bit of an idea of the improvement that happened in the last year, Memorial improved 217 spots in terms of overall ranking of elementary schools in the state. Nocatee improved 269 spots in the state. This would be the first time in a long time we've got only one school on the lowest performing 300 list, and they don't have that list anymore. It's no longer in place, but that would be West. And again, West was statistically tied with how many schools? 27. Does that sound right, Jay? So when we're talking about 1 point, we're really talking about a decimal and like 0.62. I mean, not much to have been that seat. We are excited where we're going with these schools academically, the focus of them. We fully expect, to have some B schools when spring rolls around. I know the PM2 data we've got has been very encouraging. I believe West Elementary's third grade, correct me if I'm wrong on this, was 32% proficient. That's about where they were last year as a grade. And we're at the midpoint, we've got a half of a year. So all of the schools, all the grade levels in our elementaries are really looking up. They're a good launching point to go into the second semester in January, and we expect to see some tremendous growth in our students, and really are excited about it. And I think our teachers, our faculties, school staffs, our assistant superintendent, our instructional services folks, they've all done a wonderful job. Put a lot of time in last year, and they've put that much time in, really more right now. Another little brag moment is Dr. Reynolds went over with Dr. Stafford to DeSoto High School. And how did y'all tutor of those kids in math? A few.
30, 40, maybe.
Yep, and we had a couple of kids went from level 1 to level 4 in math. And I know in the ELA portion, Francesca and Christy went over, and I believe they had 7 seniors, and of the 7 that tutored with them, 5 of them are going to graduate now because they went to a high enough score. That's 7. So we've got some really good things. We've got an Algebra 1 study guide that we're going to put out for those seniors. But our goal is that a senior or a junior never ever takes a test cold again. That's high stakes test, that we give them a fair opportunity to prepare. You know, it's just hoping that we're lucky and they'll be fortunate in passing. We need to hope we're blessed, but we need to hope we're prepared also. So, kudos to instructional services for that work, and our teachers and our administration at the high school. The next thing, if we'll look at our business tonight, there's been some job descriptions and there's some changes and some headline changes. And I thought to clarify, we would let Dr. Stafford and Marcus address those changes and speak to them a little bit and some of the logic behind that. The floor is yours, folks.
We're going up there.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. If you notice, which I'm sure you have, over the past 4 or 5 months, there have been a ton of job descriptions that have come before the board. The majority of them were just to align with the new compensation plan. But some of them, like in HR, we realigned them with their position and what their actual responsibilities were because they were outdated. And Marcus did that with finance as well, and some IT jobs as well. So we've been trying to do that and make these updates. Upon doing that, one of the things that happened this year was one of my employees left in certification. That's why I redid the job description, because I didn't have a good job description that really told what this person was doing. So that's why I did it. It took months and months and months to fill that position. I would not just hire anyone. That is a very important job in the district, and teachers' certificates depend on that position. So fast forward a little bit. Marcus did a salary study, and we noticed that we are not competitive in terms of finance and HR in other districts. I've been
going to different conferences, and some people that wear some of the hats that our non-instructional staff do down there are in administrative positions in other districts, and or positions higher or specialist positions or some kind of managerial type positions. Sometimes they're big districts, so that's why. But they wear a lot of hats down that lane, and we're not going to be competitive in recruiting if we weren't compensating them fairly. So we looked at other districts, and we are way below some of the other districts in terms of compensation for these jobs. So we decided to put these before the board now as opposed to July, because we have 2 more people who are going to retire. And we want to be able to cross-train. One of them is our person who does our retirement. We want to be able to cross-train to make sure there's no gaps in services to our staff members. And we wanted to be able to offer a competitive salary to prospective job seekers for these 2 positions. One is in finance, one is in HR. So that's why they're coming now, as opposed to when we typically negotiate salaries in July. We didn't think it was fair to maybe advertise it at a lower rate and then potentially have you consider raising it later. We thought we would get a different cadre of candidates, if you would.
And kind of to speak on that with your certification position, did we ever end up getting any external candidates?
We did get external candidates. We had like about 3. They were not, I did not feel that they were strong enough candidates and would be here for the long haul. I need that's a position you do not want turnaround in at all whatsoever. My employees were to the point that they were posting on Facebook that this job is open, and they were calling people that they knew that they thought would be good that this job was open to try to get somebody in this job because of how important it was. So luckily we did find Manuelita. We stole her from the high school, so we did find her, and she's been doing great. But it was very hard. I was very particular about that position. It's very hard. It was very hard to fill.
And to give a little bit more background, what she's speaking about in July is finance is doing a comprehensive study with broken into 2 groups. We have our immediate competition groups, which are all of our bordering counties, and then we have similar sized districts in the state, which is kind of where you have to kind of compare it is. And I pass out these sheets to everybody. We're in last or second to last place for every single one of these positions. And moving to this new proposed section, we're pretty much in the middle. So it's not like we're going from the bottom to the top. We're trying to be somewhat aligned with, you know, someone who may be living on a bordering county to make that little bit of a drive, you know, and once they get into DeSoto, they have to be able to afford to continue to drive here. Maybe they'll move here at some point, but you know, it's, we're not getting a lot of candidates in any of our positions outside of internal candidates or random people in Mississippi and Texas because they don't read which DeSoto is. Yeah. So that's kind of part of all of this. So the plan is to continue doing this across all groups because every group needs to be evaluated and looked at because they've just been the same forever. As far as I can go back, they've always kind of just stayed the same and besides the random ones that got changed just randomly. But that's kind of where we're at today.
Yes. I want to say thank you for the very detailed information that you gave the board, Marcus. There's there are 11 counties here that you went out and did this study. I see 11 different.
Well, there's 10. I put the new column for so.
Oh, I counted.
No, is there 11? The first 2 are. So.
There's 11.
Oh, there's 11. I don't know.
So thank you for all of that, and I appreciate that. It is important that our staff be compensated fairly, and even with that, it looks like we're pretty much ranked 5th
Yeah, we try to be in the middle.
And- yeah.
You know, unfortunately, we're not a very wealthy district, so we can't. You know, it's really hard to compete with Charlotte. I mean, that's, there's just not a whole lot we can do for that. You know, they generate a lot more income than we do, and we can't afford it. But it's also, we need to be fair to employees and potential employees to make sure they're compensated appropriately in the various positions. And not only are we looking at titles, I went through every job description at all of these districts and matched roles up. Because some districts, they call it the same position we call it, but it's completely different job responsibilities. So, you know, I made sure to go through and make sure that the responsibilities are, you know, as close to in line as we can with these recommendations.
And well, Marcus has shared with me that we have some positions that are paid way more than our counterparts. So we are not at we're looking at everything, but not everything will be touched because some we'll fix through attrition. We will never obviously reduce anyone's salary, but as positions, people retire and things like that, we'll address those deficits or items when that happens as well. So we found it all over the map. It's not consistent throughout the job.
And similar to how we have an administrative salary index now, that you guys supported last year, we're gonna try and do that with all of these positions, so there's actual data tying to it, not just this number seems okay. So, you know, we'll have statistical data that, you know, can mathematically follow where it came from rather than just kind of a random number we decided, so.
Thank you all. Yeah, does anybody have any questions, board members? Thank you very much for the explanation. That's all I have at this time, Madam Chair.
This time we'll go on to the public presentations. This is on any agenda item. Does anyone in the public have anything they want to come forward? All right, seeing there are none, we will move to item number 7, financial reports.
Make a motion to approve financial reports.
All right, motion made by Mr. Sherman and seconded by Mrs. Marshall. Is there any other board comments on the financial reports? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. This time we'll go to routine business.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Mrs. Mott, seconded by Dr. Goodman. Is there any board comments on routine business? All in favor? Motion carries. At this time, we'll go to new business.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to pull items 9.23 and 9.24 for discussion.
Okay.
Motion.
Thank you. Yes.
So I very much appreciate, I know it's a science to come up with, salaries for individual people throughout the district. I've received several, phone calls, with concerns, about others in the district at different departments and, who are also human resources or finance related. And they're concerned that this will create a discrepancy in the pay that they have, that this is great for the employees who are receiving it, but what about me kind of thing. So that's my concern that I have here, and I just wanted to discuss that with the board about how that is going to potentially be handled, what everybody else is thinking. I don't know specifically. I know what was told to me is that differentiating between the positions here in the district office, the primary reason for that was that those individuals worked a lot with DOE and that was a heavy lift for them. So I know that some other individuals throughout the district also work with DOE, and you know that for them, that they were wondering if there was going to be an increase in pay for them as well for the duties that they do, and the discrepancies between, you know, their duties and somebody else maybe in their department. So that's discussion that I'd like to have.
So no, I asked about that as well because I also got a phone call about that, and the response was that these are all being reviewed, and they are as far as it's my understanding that everything's being reviewed. And you know, we can't do sweeping changes where we give everybody, although we did recently in the last year or so, we've tried to, you know, make everybody go up to an even number, you know, and even out our pay lanes and whatnot, so we don't have 57 different rankings, but they're a little more streamlined. And you know, Marcus is still available if the chair would like to recognize.
Well, I think Marcus touched on that when he was speaking just a few minutes ago. He said that they're in the process, and so there's, I've got phone calls, and it was a concern, I think, with the whole board, and I think Marcus addressed that. When he spoke, he said that, you know, they are looking, they will be going further than just this. This is where they're at right now, and for the reasons that we do have some that are getting ready to retire. And so, if there's anything else that you need to add to that, Marcus?
I know that when I got the calls, I did explain to them that, you know, I said, not so, but didn't you get a raise when everybody, yes. And I said, so that's a starting point. Now it's, you know, refining specific, you know, positions. I said, and then to look at the performance, maybe there's more job performances, and the DOE thing did come up. And I said, but that is also different per department. What DOE may require one department to do, another department may have to do a lot more or a lot less. So I just tried to convey that it was a process.
Right.
I think some of the concerns were that some of them that called also handle some of the same, feel like they handle the same workload, and they feel like they are not being recognized.
I guess
Not getting a raise.
my question would be, you know, if we have a timeline, since this is, you know, this essentially the same department, just different departments within the district, do we have a, I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm sorry to put you on the spot. If we have like a timeline, you know, for when we are going to be looking at, you know, others within those departments. And then also, I know we've done some very detailed case studies, and they're phenomenal. But as far as knowing specifically like the job duties and how much work is involved with that to determine the level of pay. I know you did it for the department here. So to determine the differences between the district office as opposed to other.
Sure, so traditionally, like pay is always done during negotiation times or for a July 1st start date. So I've already started compiling all of this data to slowly go through, and like Dr. Stafford said, the reason we wanted to do these ones first is because we have those two immediate and two very critical positions, one being in benefits and the other being in our cash management. So those are two very important positions of the district, you know, for both employee and district operations, that we wanted to make sure we have some months of transition and training for immediately. Not saying that those are the only positions that people are retiring in and things like that, but those presented an immediate need, and we have a very recent challenge that we had to fill, you know, within that department to begin with. So it was one of the ones that I focused on first. All of these positions, you know, A to Z, I guess, are being reviewed and put into that. And like Dr. Stafford said, it doesn't necessarily mean people will go up, but nobody's going to go down either. And it's looking at all of the districts, again, that are immediate competition for us, which are all of our bordering districts, but also similar size districts as well. And not only comparing just the job title, but the actual responsibilities in those job descriptions. And one of the things that I think we're doing as well is, I know you've sent job descriptions to directors to make sure they can that they're in line with what their folks are doing, and I know that's part of it as well. So because some of them are just out of date, you know, and need to be updated because things change and evolve. And especially like when I took over IT last year, I updated the job descriptions last year because it was referencing things from, you know, like Windows Server 2003, which we haven't had for 15 years. So, you know, all of those things kind of change and evolve. So the timeline right now is to try and do this over the next year or two to make these recommendations and these changes, because we may find that you know, we're missing positions and things like that. You know, we're just not that far into those. But you know, like Dr. Stafford said too, a lot of people wear a lot of hats. So, you know, there's certain positions in the district where they are doing multiple functions. And we need to make sure we're recognizing that. And when we're filling a new position, it would be really unfair to hire somebody with an outdated job description at a lower pay lane. And then go, oh yeah, by the way, this wasn't in the job description, but here's your duties. And we have that in quite a few spots as well. So, you know, it's kind of all of that being wrapped together.
Can I add something? I want to address the DOE piece because I know where that came from. So to explain, when we met with HR and finance, Marcus and I, to explain that they were going to see job descriptions go before the board and it's their jobs and what we were doing. So we explained the salary study and whatnot. In my particular department, people did not make more because of their dealings with the DOE, but it just so happens that the two that deal with the DOE were the ones that were at a higher level. So that is the pattern that it was. And it was certification, and people may dabble in certification, but there is nobody else in the district that does certification the way certification is done in HR. And retirement, some people may dabble with it, but nobody does retirement benefits, leaves like in HR. So people may dabble in this, but they don't. And luckily, I've been a director, luckily or unluckily, in 3 different departments now. So other people that may be impacted and may feel unfair about, I could have been their boss and know exactly what they were doing or at one point. And I know they wear a lot of hats and they do a lot of things. It's just on a different level. It's so I don't know how to explain that other than if you live it, that you know it, but that's the rationale behind things. So it wasn't because of DOE dealings, because we have
I mean, everybody talks to
DOE dealings.
Okay.
That just was a pattern in HR, and people I think misunderstood what was being said when that was said.
Thank you. That really clarifies it very well for me.
Yes, thank you.
And Marcus, moving forward, and board, I'd like to ask your commission, just ask a quick question. We're gonna examine where our salaries are falling with these same districts. And all of our positions will conduct.
Correct. I mean, we have the preliminary data and preliminary work done. And I can't promise that we can afford to do adjustments or things like that, but we need to at least be mindful and aware as we move forward of, we have to stay competitive. I just got that email that says Florida's up, 51,000 students this year. You know, I want them to come here. And that would be great. And we have to retain that talent here and get that talent here. Let's get those students here. And the way you do that is with good people. So, you know, there's a lot of those things that we want to do. But, you know, it's a process. It's going to take some time. And as long as we're being mindful and working towards it, that's really the best we can do. Take out little chunks at a time.
Yes, I feel like also there's a lot of opportunity for advancement in our district as well. So if, as Gina was saying, there's a lot of crossover between wearing this hat and this hat, this person does that one and that one too. If there's another job that more seemingly feels like a better fit, you know, it fits what their experiences might lead them to, we would always encourage people to be in a better fit position than where they currently are. If it's higher pay and that's what they want, we certainly would. I mean, we want to see everyone do better and be in the best fit possible.
Marcus, again, when I ask a question, I know we've had conversations about this. We've got a lot of 11-month positions that we would like to eventually move to 12-month positions. And we've got to be careful as we do that, as we migrate with that direction. But we've really got people on 225-day contracts. We need to have them on 250-day contract. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and really when you do the math and you look at our board's approved vacation policy and things like that, once they've hit the I think 6-year mark is the highest multiplier, or is it 10 for the vacation? I think it's 10.
It's 6. I think it's when you're
Is
on
it 6?
7.
Yeah, when you're on your 7th year, that multiplier, you're now earning those paid vacation days, and it's 3 days short of what the 225-day contract is. So it's really only a 3-day difference. And in reality, all of our 11-month employees here are 12 months anyway. So as we start doing these evaluations and things, those are becoming, an option for when we fill a position. We may advertise it as a 12-month position. We're not going to force anybody to change over if they don't want
Anybody
to.
that's in an existing
But,
one, and that
yeah.
pay grade would be given an opportunity.
Correct.
If we
Yeah,
did
and
not
it would
want
just
this
move,
with
and that was
12
part of
months.
our pay lane alignment is, you might be like a D7. Well, the corresponding, that's an 11-month, your corresponding would be like E6 or something like that for 12 months. The pay rate's the same, but you're being paid for that extra month that you're here. And we didn't have that option before doing this alignment either. So those are some of the things that we're looking at. Like one good example that we have openings right now and is our lawn crew. That I think up until we reposted it was a 11-month position. Grass grows 12 months here, so that is a position that needs to be 12 months, and it just traditionally hasn't been. But we need people to do that. So they're pretty much here the same amount of days anyway. They're now able to earn that extra, month of pay and also get bankable time off that can be transitioned between years and stuff like that, which is not an option for the 11-month employees as well. So.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. All right, that's fine. Is there any more comments? Anything?
I know that, whenever we redid the pay scale, we had a lot of things to change and there were some progression issues. And I know that there's still gonna be, and that we're working towards making those changes and adjustments and I'm glad to hear that, the other areas of the department are being looked at as well for future increases. So thank you so much for your explanation.
All right, so then you need a motion. Okay. All right, the floor is open for a motion and new business.
Motion to approve the business. I'll second.
A motion made by Mrs. Ma and seconded by Mrs. Schumann. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. At this time, we will go back to Superintendent Dr. Bennett.
Yes, ma'am. Just a quick update on the potential new high school project. We're awaiting completion of a second appraisal on the adjoining property. We expect that this week, and Marcus will forward that to Violet at that point, and we'll come back to the board with where we're at and if there's any separation between the property owner, the appraisals, and our needs. On December 20th, Greg Kelly, the architect, will be back in DeSoto County. He's going to go over the high school property again, check it to see what we have with our existing property. Try to iron a few of the little kinks out in it, and he's going to go through DeSoto High School and look at our AC system, and it really will involve taking the roof down. When we move to that new high school in 28, high school would be vacant. In a perfect world for that 28-29 school year, we'll get all the HV units replaced and the stuff in the ceiling replaced. That's what he's going to do on the 20th, is look at that. So we're really trying to piggyback these projects on top of each other, to do them sort of concurrently. So it's a little bit of a lift, but right now that's where we're at. And we get more of an update on that. I'll update the board and the public on that piece. And that's all I have at this time.
All right, before we go to board members' comments, we need to have a discussion about canceling our next board meeting. That is just normal for us to do that, and so do I have a motion on that?
Yes, Madam Chair.
All right, so motion made by Dr. Goodman and second by Mrs. Mercer to cancel our next upcoming board meeting. All in favor? Motion carries. This time we'll go to board member comments, and we'll start with Mrs. Mark. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. We'll go back to public presentations. If there's anyone in the public that has a non-agenda item they would like to come forward with. All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know it's not non-agenda. I got in late from work, so I apologize. I got a notice to be here today. for a decision
Okay,
on my son,
all right,
with the incident at the high school.
all right. We're gonna go ahead and close, we'll finish up this meeting
Mhm.
because that would be a private meeting with you and the board and us.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So at this time, we'll go with our board members since it's not.
Thank you. Just congratulations to all of our schools for working hard and increasing their scores. Gosh, one stinking point. Darn it. So very close and still great growth, great growth all the way around. So appreciate all the hard work by our staff and just wish all of our community and our students and staff a happy Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Mrs. Shannon?
I'd say congrats to A-Team. I really like it every time they come and do their presentations. It's just so awesome. They're a great group of kids and they're doing great things and, showing off our district. That's really cool. Have a good time at conference, learned a lot of things. And I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to everybody. And Merry Christmas to everybody out there and everybody in our district. And hope everybody has a nice, restful break.
Okay. We'll go to Dr. Goodman.
I want to say thank you again to Dr. Stafford and to Marcus for your explanations on the finance piece. It was when you said that about the specifics of certification, it was like, yeah, been there, done that. I mean, as far as the living part of it, of being a teacher trying to get renewed, and even just a little bit ago with trying to keep my certificate. There's a lot of work that goes on there. Because DOE is, we all know, is constantly changing. So that made it really make sense for me. So I appreciate that. The grades, yeah, that one point, but you know what? I believe that by the end of the year, we'll get there. I am so tickled at the growth that I'm seeing in all of the schools. If we can just encourage our staffs and schools to remember that we see the difference. There's no way, and I've always, as an educator, I've always been opposed to school grades and opposed to putting everybody in a pot because we're not all the same. But I think that every time DeSoto comes up to the measure, and I really appreciate that. Conference was a lot of fun. The best part of the whole conference for me was getting to know my fellow school board sisters just a little bit better. We were like laughing kids in that mall after dinner, sitting in Sam's lap. Well, not quite sitting in his lap, but we did enjoy making our wishes to Santa that we have the best school district in the whole world. And it was just fun getting to be there. And the workshops were challenging. And that last one on artificial intelligence, because I was very negative towards that. But that young lady, a teacher who actually used artificial intelligence in her class and used it masterfully, she really encouraged me and it changed my mind. So I'm thinking about that now. But it was just a very good conference, very good time. And I do want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And Miss Tammy Jackson Lewis made cake. It's over there, staff. Please, y'all. Don't let me take that cake home because I'm trying to stay trim for my concert that's coming up on December 22nd. I have a pretty dress that I'm gonna wear, and if I take that cake home, I'm gonna eat it, and I won't fit in the dress. So y'all, please don't let me take that home.
Thank you. Mrs. Marshall.
Can probably echo everything everybody said from the, congratulating the A-Team to the staff and the students and the teachers on these school grades. That's quite an accomplishment. To see so many of them move up. So that is great. Also, thank you, Marcus and Dr. Stafford, for your presentation today to hopefully help clarify some things so everybody is aware that you guys are definitely looking into their positions as well. So see where things go from there. And yeah, wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Hope everybody enjoys some time off and gets to relax.
And I just echo everything everybody else said and appreciate you two for staying and being here so you can help explain that. Help us understand.
Help us to be able to
others.
explain.
Yes, we appreciate that very much. And all the time the work you put into it. We appreciate that very much. And I also want to say, how we enjoyed the Christmas parade.
Oh, yes.
We really enjoyed that, and had fun. We had a lot of fun. here in the last
Yes,
few
we
months.
have.
And so, and it's great to see all the progress in our schools are. That just made my heart very happy. So, and I look forward to great things in the upcoming months, and there's no doubt we're gonna get there. And I also wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Merry safe Christmas, and look forward to next year. Mrs. Michael, do you have anything?
Yeah, thank you. I did. I wanted to say that in 2 days, we have 8 of our high school students. 2 of them are your granddaughters that are gonna be walking across the stage of the college, earning their AA
degrees, yes.
Wow.
And high school diploma will be shortly following, so that's a huge deal because it's only December. And these are seniors that were able to get a jump start, and we're so proud of them. We have some really amazing students in our high school.
Wonderful.
We got master board certified.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I forgot to say that. We are master board certified.
Okay, like 20 hours of training that we all did together. So.
That was another chance, yes, of getting to go together as,
Yes.
as a group. Yeah.
So, quite proud of all that.
Yeah, we're working, we're working.
All right, this time, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Mrs. Zimmerman made the motion, and Mrs. Mercer